Okay, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday for those that are here live. Happy whatever day, week it is for you. Thanks so much for joining us on the boost. We've been talking about micro immersions, immersiveness, immersions. Yesterday, we began the conversation of the screen. I don't think we appreciate this. There's a lot of data coming out right now. We're paying attention on the incredible, horrible impact of social media on young girls and what it's doing to their body image. Young girls. These are young girls, 12, 13, 14 years old. These are not. It's a travesty if they are now at their age overly concerned with their body image. Like they're little girls. They're 11. They're 10. To have the obsession of how they look, the obsession of how what size they are, the way they act around others, and it's very detrimental to their growth, to their ability to forget the boys. I'm just talking about the latest data that I just saw on the girls. I'm sure it's like that for the boys too, and as well. But at the very least, the impact that it's having on their ability to create relationships, the ability to create self-confidence, the ability to interact with others, the ability to trust. Like it's a disaster. Where's it coming from? It's coming from social media. What part of social media? It's coming from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of micro immersions, because social media is immersive, believe it or not. When you are in your phone, you're lost in your phone. The level of impact, the level of hits, dopamine, and sort of addictive brain activity. Look at somebody on a train; they're immersed in their phone. They're not even paying attention. Pull the phone away from a kid. A little crazy. How come? Because it immerses them. It's micro immersion, but it's immersion. And it's mimetic desires. It's all the same stuff. And as a result, when you spend a lot of your young life looking at other people that have, look a certain way and talk a certain way and act a certain way, you just don't know what happens. One day you just do it yourself. And it impacts what you think the world is and what the world isn't. Social media, the screens, the movies, the shows, all that stuff impacts in a really big way, right? There's a reason, I would think, and I'm sure there's data behind it if you spend enough time researching it, that from the advent of algorithms that deliver news to you that you've already seen once because they want you to still watch, and so they deliver the things that you already liked. If you take that 5, 6, 8 years ago when it started to become super popular, and you watch where politics went and the level of just insaneness in which you hear people on both sides of the aisle talk, the inability to see somebody else that doesn't speak like you or talk like you or think like you, the type of language that is being used as people from the different sides of the aisle speak to each other, it's definitely not a coincidence that as the algorithm sends you the stories that you like, you live in an echo chamber of the same exact thoughts. You just keep on listening to the same people say the stuff that you agree with until your brain doesn't know that there are tons of people right outside you that disagree. And they're not dumb. They're not evil. Even when I say it, you're thinking, no, you're wrong. They are. Right? One of the greatest parts between me about studying Talmud, one of the greatest parts for me when studying Talmud is the Talmud, which is one of the greatest magnum opuses of Jewish law and the history of Judaism. Is the Talmud is a page filled. Its pages filled with different opinions. Everyone's there's almost never this person said it. It's the law. It's this said it, but then he said this, and they said this, and where'd you learn this? The fighting, the argument, that's part of the way that the tradition is passed, the law is created. It's in the disputes, it's in the disagreements that you find truth, but not when you live in a world where you're in the screens. Where did that come from? It came from the immersion of the screens. People all of a sudden started to watch. People become entrepreneurs. They start looking at magazine covers. They start reading stories, and all of a sudden everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. You start watching shows, and you start thinking, this is what I want. And the more we don't realize that which I watch every single day, whether in short form or long form, whether on a platform that gives me long content or on a platform that gives me short content, that which I watch every single day consistently delivers an immersive experience in which I am building mimetic desires. And it shifts how I see the world. It shifts what I think is right and wrong. It shifts what I want for my life. It shifts what I am satisfied with in life. It shifts whether or not I look at my life and go, I'm proud of it, or we're not enough because they're doing X. I look at my spouse and go, I'm proud of them, or they're not enough because look at this, or my children, or my life, or my needs, or what I want to do, or how I see the world. Like, so much of what's driving us really is coming from the tiny little thing that was in our pockets. Now, it's okay. Do whatever we should do whatever, do whatever you want. But just don't be unaware of it. Like, once we understand that we have how this works, we have power, because knowledge is power. And it's so much better to make a conscious decision to do something than to do it, not realize it, wake up one morning and go, why is this like this for? Why am I not happy for? Why am I always looking for the next? How come my spouse, who I was so attracted to, am I not attracted to anymore? Is it because of my spouse? Or is it because of what I'm watching? How come I'm so much more angry at the thing? Why does this thing bother me? Why am I being driven for this? Once you start to question your desires, you're in the world of mimetic desire discovery, and we're in the world of figuring it out. And we start to realize that the people around me, but the things that I watch, make a major impact on me. What you put in your mind really matters. And when we talk about immersive experiences, we can't keep on going without stopping for a second and realizing that the greatest way to have an immersive experience is to create time away from the screen. And the greatest way to give our minds the breathing room to be us is to be really careful with what we watch and really careful what we look at. I know many people who have moved off of social media for the most part, outside maybe LinkedIn, and are living different lives. Many people. I know many people that have stopped the Netflix binging. Maybe because of post-COVID, there's something else to watch, but for them, they stopped. And they live different lives. They can breathe again. So critical to realize that we have one life here. And the more we allow somebody else to program it, the less we are able to be great at it. And sometimes the recognition of the impact on us just is enough for us to take a deep breath and create moments where we get to be free of it. All right, let's think about this. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. With God's help, I can't wait to see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Living on a lifeline, the world doesn't ever seem to change. Looking for the sunshine, but you're caught up in the rain. It's like your eyes are wide open, but you cannot see. You're watching life pass you by like 1, 2, 3. Walking in destruction, The winds of life blur your vision, all the devastation. Forever feels like you're on the run, it's time. No one else can set you free, you're locked inside. And only you have got the key.